Do you have a brand? That is the question we're going to be answering and talking about in today's video. So, this is geared towards my fellow content creator individuals. If you are watching this, odds are you are a content creator like myself. I don't love this term, but everybody uses it. It really just means you're a videographer, photographer, some kind of a visual artist, and you're a freelance individual who makes works for yourself and you make content for brands, artists, and hopefully yourself. And that's what I really want to talk about in this video. So the reason I want to talk about this is because I see a lot of people who are content creators, again, people who are working for themselves, who are running their own business, and ultimately, you have a lot of decisions to make in that position. And the decision I see a lot of people making as far as the content that they make is they sort of, whether they started out doing this or they've just kind of gotten to a point where it's like this, they look at the work that they're doing as work, right? And at a certain point, and I'm not, maybe this is you, maybe it's not, and it's not black and white. Obviously, there's a whole spectrum here. But if you, in any way, shape, or form, are looking at the work that you do on a daily basis as work and not as your actual art anymore, it's eventually going to become a big problem, right? That's what's going to cause you to stagnate. And you might be sitting here thinking, oh, but Ben, how come how am I supposed to make money that way? How am I supposed to make money if I only take on gigs that I actually have interest in doing? And the answer is, in the short term, it's going to be harder. But in the long term is what I'm talking about. The long term is the mindset that you should always be using, and trying to think in terms of what's going to make you the most money in the long term. And if you've watched my other videos, if you know me and you are familiar with my philosophy on business, I think that thinking in terms of money is actually a detriment, a huge detriment to actually making money. It's actually very counterintuitive. What I mean by this is, if you have, let's say you have the opportunity to do jobs in the short term that are quick cash, right? And that seem like everything's going great. Everything is amazing. Let's say you're getting hired for work that is, let's say it's just like some corporate work. Maybe you're familiar with this. Again, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're a content creator. You know what I'm talking about, right? Work that pays the bills, but ultimately isn't very exciting. We've all been there. And if this is the type of work you're doing all the time, hey, you might be making money right now, but it's going to be a problem eventually, because at what point do you ask yourself, okay, what did I start doing this for in the first place? Why did I pick up a camera? Why did I start editing? Why did I start taking photos? Whatever your specific niche and whatever your specific work actually is, right? What did you actually start it for? And how wide is the gap between what you actually started and set out to do and what you're actually doing currently? If you're not actively working to close that gap on a daily basis by relentlessly doing the work that you want to be doing, right? No matter what, whether you're getting paid for it currently or not, you're going to stagnate. It's not going to work anymore. Or you're going to get trapped in a corner where you've done all this work that you're ultimately not that proud of. You've made a lot of short-term money, but ultimately you don't have a brand. And if you don't have a brand, you are not that valuable at the end of the day, because people are going to see you, right, as the person that they want to work with, right? What actually is setting you apart at the end of the day? If you know a guy, right? If you just know a guy, and that's how you're getting plugged in, right? So let's say, your friend is a more established creative than you are, and he just so happens to know you and your friends, and he knows that you are capable, right? And so he puts you on. And he puts you on again and again and again. Maybe this is a situation you've been in or you're currently in. I'm not sure, right? But let's just say you're getting put on by somebody and you're getting work that's really high paying, but you're not necessarily earning that work yourself. What happens when that person stops feeding you work? What happens when the hack goes away, right? Are you actually an attractive individual yourself? Again, thinking long term, are you actually growing something? Are you actually developing something? in my opinion, it's worth, it's most people that I see are quick to step up to any old job that will just pay them in the short term. And they're not so quick to step up to things and put in, crazy amounts of, they're willing to put in crazy amount of work if they know they're getting paid right now, but they're not willing to put in that same level of work, and they're not going to jump at opportunities that give them a creative opportunity and put in work in that, to that same extent, to something that is going to just give them something that is an amazing video or an amazing photo, whatever your medium is. Again, whatever it is to you, you should just do whatever it is you're interested in. And if you, again, are sitting here saying, oh, but I need to pay the bills, that's fair. You should pay the bills. You absolutely should. If you have the means to do this full time, you absolutely should, even if that means taking on corporate work. The caveat to that is you need to figure out a way to also make the work that you want to make, and you need to prioritize that even a little bit more, right? Maybe it's just a little bit more, right? You have 49% of your efforts going into the client stuff that's paying the bills, but still that 51% is going into the work that you actually know is growing your portfolio and building your brand. Because if you don't do that in the long run, eventually the clock is ticking. Eventually, why are people actually going to want to work for you? What's the reason that people are going with you? Do they actually see you as this elevated person, or are you just someone who they know, or someone they know put on, right? Or you were put on by, someone that like I was talking about before. Not only that, but what's the point of doing this? That's the thing you have to really ask yourself. How often do you ask yourself, what did I get into this for in the first place? Maybe it's been years, and you've just been taking on whatever work. And, it feels good when you first start out and you first start, making a full-time living from nothing but your camera and a laptop probably, right? It feels great. But, at a certain point, you have to ask yourself that question of, what did I actually start doing this for? What actually fires me up? What's the work that I actually want to make? And how do I get there, right? What's a perfect day in the life look like for you realistically? I know the answer to that question for myself. And I know that I'm on track to get there because I'm taking very intentional steps to do so. And it's not easy. It's certainly not easy. It's certainly now it's almost a pivotal time for me where I start to think this way, because if I don't, I could see it already. I could see myself getting in this trap of where I do like remote editing work for the same 4 clients, and I pay the bills and I make really, really, really good money. And I check out. I just mentally check out, and I stop caring about my own brand. And I stop caring about my own work. But at that point, you're another worker, right? At that point, you're not actually like, what's the point? If you're watching this, and again, you're a content creator, maybe you're not. Whoever is watching this, obviously, thanks if you've made it this far. But if you're a content creator, odds are you're very passionate, and you need to get back to that. This is your message to get back to that, because that's what's going to A, make you happy in the long term, in the long run, and B, actually make you crazy amount of money in the long run, in my opinion. I'm not quite there yet, but hopefully I'll look back on this video and I will be able to confirm that doubling down on my brand was the right move, as opposed to essentially just selling out. So yeah, that's the video for today. Again, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what other topics to talk about. I'm really running dry on topics here, so I'm trying to make a video like this every day. So comment down below. Send this video to a friend also who needs to hear it. Thank you again for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.